The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi, this is Ken Gidge, and this is The Art of Politics, the only show of its type where a good Democrat goes after a bad Republican.
Fiction or fact?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk a little bit about the budget. Not right now, but I want to give him, the Republicans, I guess we can say hell. I'm going to give you hell.
Well, give me hell. Bring it on.
All right.
Give me
if I
the
remember
fiction.
correctly, a Republican stood up when fourth graders were there and made such a horrible statement and will not apologize for it?
How about that Democrat?
What's wrong with you?
How about the first speaker, the Democrats? You go after the Republican. All the Republican did was talked about the red-tailed bird and said it should be for Planned Parenthoods.
No. Didn't he talk about how the red-tailed bird tears things apart?
Right, yes.
And then he said what?
That it should be the example for the Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
Should be their bird.
And, you know, it took someone from the Democratic Party to apologize. Also, the government.
Wait, who apologized from the Democrat Party? Who?
Excuse me.
Who apologized?
For the red tail?
Who apologized? Remy, the rep from that district?
Yes.
You know something? Did he apologize for the Democrat that said you kids are wasting our time? The first speaker?
No, he did not.
No,
Ladies and gentlemen, you know something? He apologizes to the fourth graders.
You're not being honest.
The governor apologizes to the fourth graders.
You know something? You're not being honest.
And that rascallion Republican did not apologize.
You know
Shame on you guys.
How many fourth graders, do they teach in school what Planned Parenthood is? That when he said Planned Parenthood, yes, went over their head. Went over their heads.
So if they're at that age, they're very curious, so they will.
You know something? Under the New Hampshire Constitution, we get, first of all, freedom of speech is a beautiful thing.
You're going after freedom of speech.
I am.
Who's stopping you from freedom of speech?
I am. But what I'm trying to tell you is,
apology?
That's a bunch of BS. I would not apologize. And the reason why I'm going to tell you, why didn't you raise hell about the Democrat the way she treated
you would
them?
Apologize.
Why?
I know because you're a sensitive individual. You know kids. You like kids.
I have kids.
And you might say,
I
apologize, but guess what? At least I have the freedom to say it.
Can I read something to you? I want to read something to you. Article 30. This is out of the New Hampshire Constitution.
Didn't you already read this last week?
But you're bringing it up again. Okay, because you're bringing up about the Republican.
Stopping the freedom of speech.
Because you want an apology for speech on the floor.
So, freedom of speech. What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to tell you is,
the freedom to apologize.
We never know who's sitting up there. We have fourth graders up there all the time.
You know fourth graders were up there.
But the bottom line is, we have them there all the time. So should we be silenced on speech?
No, you don't have to be silenced on speech.
Did you apologize for the Democrat?
Excuse me. You just talked, one thing at a time. You just started saying about freedom of speech.
Yes.
No one stopped freedom of speech with you.
Then what's the problem?
Also,
it
doesn't stop a freedom of apologizing.
So
every time I say apologize, what do you say? I'm trying to take your freedom of speech away.
Let me read this again. The freedom of deliberation, speech, and debate in either house of the legislature is so essential to the rights of the people, that it cannot be the foundation of any action, complaint, or prosecution in any other court or place whatsoever. You're all politicizing this.
Excuse me.
You're politicizing it.
A person got up and said something. Nobody stopped him.
Yes, that's right.
Nobody
the speaker did. Nobody
Freedom
did.
of speech.
Yes. So it's the problem.
Everyone has criticized him for what he
the
said.
Democrats and the speaker.
No.
In the speaker.
Right across the board. Well, excuse me, the speaker happens to be a Republican.
He's a Democrat-appointed speaker.
Yeah, okay.
He went along with the Democrats.
Well, I'm happy.
Why didn't you all?
I'm happy he's willing to work with
Let me ask you a question.
something.
Why didn't you all go after the Democrat that said you kids are wasting our time?
Hold on a second.
How come you didn't go after her?
Excuse me. Let's stick on one thing at a time.
No, you don't know. This has to do with it.
You're talking about freedom of speech.
You're going after Republicans' free speech.
Take freedom of speech away from you.
No, but you want him to apologize for what he said. I don't think he should.
So, are you trying to say we're trying to pull free speech out of him?
Yeah, that's what you want to shut him down.
What you're trying to say
you want him to say he was wrong for what he said.
He has the freedom not to speak.
No.
As much as he has the freedom to speak.
It's his choice.
Well, that's
it's
what I just said.
It's a legislator's choice. Why don't you support speech? Why, if you're so concerned what he said, why didn't you just make an issue over the Democrat
ladies and gentlemen,
who told the kids you're wasting our time?
The Republicans do. You
politicized it.
All right, okay.
You politicized it. Can we talk about the Democrat on her talking to be the first speaker? When all them kids were sitting up there and she said, you're wasting our time, we have better things to do.
Excuse me. Excuse me. If I remember, John Burke, who sat here,
no, he was not the first speaker.
It was a waste of time.
No, the first speaker. Did you remember, or did you block your ears from the first speaker?
Block my
first speaker was a representative female Democrat. The first speaker.
Who was she?
I can't think of her name, but I'm sure if you go to the first, if you go to the State House, wait, hold up one second. We can probably end this. Go to the State House website where it says streaming. Click on last week debate, okay? And then it's right in the beginning, right after the pledge when we started. Look at the first speaker, what she said.
She said what?
That the kid, you're wasting our time with this legislation. The Democrats were silent.
All right, okay. All right, question. What did the Republicans say?
The Republican was talking about with the red-tailed bird. He felt that it should not be a raptor.
Excuse me. How did he describe it?
Because what the bird does, it tears apart its victims.
And then he said.
Then he said it should be the example for the Planned Parenthood, or the bird should represent Planned Parenthood.
All right. Okay. So we got fourth graders up
right.
top. Everybody hears this. It goes right over the house.
Do they teach Planned Parenthood in school in fourth grade? Do they teach it?
I don't know.
You all made a big. They don't. They don't teach it.
So you, all right.
You all made a big thing over Planned Parenthood. You politicized it.
I owe you lunch. That's all.
You politicized it. That's what you did.
No, I didn't.
Now, John Bird said, "What's next? A hot dog?" Because John Bird is a jokester. He's always making, a little humor when he's in the well. And he's the king of the hot dog fundraiser every year.
If I could have got out of my seat fast enough, because this guy, the representative, I'm not going to mention his name. He said it and he just ran away. If I had the opportunity to get up there.
That's a bunch of BS.
No.
Why did it take a week?
I've got to get through three big people.
Why did it take a week before anyone said anything?
What do you mean?
A week later.
Excuse me.
They said
They said it 5 minutes later.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
You ought to apologize.
A week later, it was all over the news.
Okay, all right.
All over the news a week later.
All right, fine.
The truth hurts, brother.
What bills did you have come up this week? Because what we're going to try to do, we'll argue.
What bills did we have come up this week?
What did we have come up this week? Bills in your committee. Did you have any in your committee?
No, I didn't. I actually sat with your wife on Fish and Game and exec the bill. 3 bills I exec with her.
So we can talk about that. But I would like to just show you something that we did this week, which I don't think people really realize the stuff that we go through. Okay? And I'll tell you right now, Wednesday the 8th, we want to do that. Let's go to Tuesday.
You're going to bring up the
Tuesday
FRM?
The 2nd. Yeah.
I don't even have to look at that, and I already know what your committee was doing.
Okay, Tuesday. Now listen to this. Tuesday, and this is the bills that we had to sit down and listen to. Tuesday, relative to the optometrist, it's an insurance type bill. They're trying to get this. It's complicated. They're trying to get it on the same policies and make the same money. Then see, that's SB. These are Senate bills that come into the House, restricting the sale of possession of synthetic drugs. Okay, so what they're talking about is vamping. You know, it's not called vamping. I'm not sure what it's called. You know, the smokeless cigarettes?
Oh, yes.
Okay, the smokeless cigarettes. So that what they're trying to do is put them in the classification of drugs.
Right. I don't understand why they're doing that. I know many people that use those smokeless cigarettes and they're quitting smoking. Are the Democrats now, you want to tax it, okay? You want to put a tax on there, but this is helping people quit smoking. So you're using it that the kids are at it. That's the excuse.
No, the kids.
It's a way to get more revenue.
But the kids are, excuse me, I'm kind of missing your point.
It's a revenue source.
Okay,
you want to tax it.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
But if they want to kill it, why don't you just ban it?
No, they didn't say kill it. They want to study it.
They want to tax. Yeah, but
they want to first study it.
But you all put an amendment on the budget.
I think it's already taxed.
No, it's not. No, the smokeless cigarettes here, they're not taxed. They're not taxed.
So we should not tax them.
You guys try to tax it.
Excuse me, we should not tax them.
No.
All right, okay. Well, let me tell you, they're also trying to get them banned in clubs and, you know, smokeless.
You know why they want them banned? I'll tell you why they want them banned. First of all, because what's happening is the cigarette money is the taxes are not making as much as we used to make. Those numbers are down, okay? And they're down because people are quitting. And they're quitting using those cigarettes.
Because they're smart.
But the bottom line, so they want to tax that now to help them quit.
You know.
That's you Democrats.
Yeah, all right.
You want me to show you the amendment?
Okay, relative to a child-resistant packaging for tobacco products. Revising the Indoor Smoking Act. Now, we're going, several
bills. They want
bills,
a study. There's a study.
Yeah, right.
You know what that is?
Several bills on the same thing.
Why do you think I was in your committee for that and signed in against it? Because that is the nose under the tent to go after the veterans clubs.
The what?
They want to go after the private clubs, that study.
Excuse me.
That is what...
Private clubs are private clubs.
But that's what the study's about.
You go to a private club, and what are the rules in your private club?
You know something?
Smoking outside.
No, smoking inside.
Inside,
you
but
can
they got a
smoke
special
inside.
room.
No, you have filters or whatever. Once you invite the public...
Did you tell me last week that they had to go outside?
No. What I'm saying is some posts like mine voted on the veterans who served in the war.
Yeah, restriction.
Okay, voted themselves to say, we don't want to have smoking in here, in this building. Let's build a separate building outside with a TV, heater. If somebody wants to smoke, they walk right out the door and walk in there. At the VA hospital, urgent care center, right out the door, you have a smoking.
That's my point.
Why should the government be involved?
Excuse me. We have to debate these.
Why should the government be involved?
Excuse me. That has nothing to do.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. Packaging of an instrument.
That bill is two parts.
Excuse me. What these people are trying to do is they're trying to put these smokeless cigarettes in the same category of cigarettes, all right, which is nicotine, right, which does hurt kids if they do too much, all right? I mean, and also what they brought in is they brought in a little bottle of nicotine, all right, which you can get to refill your smokeless cigarettes. But the problem is there's no packaging on it, no safety kids bottle, because a child, if they took it and drank it, that would kill them. There's so much nicotine in it. So that's when they say packaging, that's what they were trying to do.
Now bleach, different type of cleaners.
Bleach has.
Okay. You know something? You all make me laugh, the Democrats, because in one committee you got that going on. You're trying to get a study committee. That's a two-part bill. Okay, the study committees are going to look at the private clubs. Why are you under the
impression it was a Democrat who brought it in?
Because it was Lou D'Alessandro as a sponsor. And it's a Senate bill. You think I'm stupid? I view all this stuff. Anything that goes after the veterans.
Stupid?
Yeah, that's what you think.
Excuse me.
Did I show up? Yeah, you better think about it.
Stupid. No,
okay?
I don't think you're stupid.
Lou D'Alessandro said on the Senate floor, they wanted him and, Representative Pierce. It wasn't Lou. David Pierce's bill. He was the only sponsor on the bill.
Can I get through these? I thought what we'd do is try to get people to let them know what we're doing instead of arguing. Okay.
But I want to tell you what's going on with the bill.
Let's move over to Thursday. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Allowing private employers to establish a establish a policy of granting veterans preference in employment. Okay, hold on. Let's get to one more because we can tie this in.
Where are you at on Thursday?
That's right. I'm on Commerce.
Commerce.
So that was one relative to the mortgage foreclosure notices. Now that's pretty serious because a lot of people have had foreclosures and didn't get all the information. And now we're going to make it a law that, guess what? You better give it to them, because that's how a lot of people got thrown out, is they never got the information.
Right.
They got thrown out. Okay, so let me just go through this one thing relative to unfair trade practices targeting veterans. Okay, that's the bill. Making spoofing.
Wait, talk about that for a second.
Will you stop a
No,
second?
talk
Stop
about-
it, let me get through these bills.
Yeah, but-
Let me get through these bills, and then we'll talk about them quickly. Because
Why don't you do one at a time and talk about it?
Because there's something I got to tell you. We'll move
okay.
back.
Well, wake me up when you're done. All right.
Okay.
I got the stuff in front of me.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, spoofing, unfair deceptive act. Spoofing, we'll talk about that. Relative to the wholesale hospital-to-hospital laboratory testing. Relative to cost sharing.
Parity.
Yes, oral anti-cancer therapy, which is chemotherapy in pill form. Now, if I should go over two and find one more, also studying breastfeeding in the workplace. Now, that's what we had to talk about this week. Which one would you like to talk about now?
Okay, let's explain to me what's going on. I'm confused on the unfair.
Oh, you're confused.
On the SB 75,
it's not hard to
relative
confuse
to
you.
unfair trade practices targeting veterans. How are they targeting veterans? What's going on with that? I didn't know about this one.
I don't know.
You sit in the committee. You had a hearing. It says you had a hearing. Where were you,
That's right.
sleeping?
No, I wasn't sleeping.
No wonder you don't want to talk about any of these.
Well, if somebody, if
You want me to change the subject?
No. If somebody steps up and tries to make it a point, and let me tell you, don't misunderstand me. All right. Now, I just want to tell you something, because I think this is really important. Nobody was against it.
But I want to know what it's about.
Some people stood up and said, "Excuse me, why are veterans getting other types of treatment? This type of, how about the disabled?
Right.
Do they get preferential treatment?"
I agree.
And on and on. So I said, okay, fine. They put that's going to look, when it gets too controversial, we stop it and we put it in a subcommittee.
Did they talk about what type of unfair trade practices?
No.
I mean, yesterday, give you an idea.
No.
And people need to know this too. My wife's daughter, my stepdaughter, got 2 phone calls yesterday while she was in school. She don't answer her phone; it's on mute. But anyway, she listened to the voicemail, and there's somebody saying they're from the IRS.
Yes.
And they want to talk to her about her taxes. So what happened is when she come home, she played the voice thing, and then they threaten on there too that they're going to have the FBI come out. So I called up the number to see what's going on. And this is some scam going on around there. They're saying they're from the IRS. The guy threatens me, going to have the FBI, wants to talk with my wife because this is dealing with her.
Ladies and gentlemen.
But this was a scam.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, that's what spoofing is about. That's exactly what we
spoofing
talked
is.
about.
Okay.
Let me give you let me give you an example. I get a phone number, and I don't get it. The person says, "I want to talk to you." All right, okay. So I'm not home, and 3 times I get this call. So finally, I call a number, and it's a person in Nashville who goes, "Oh God, they used my number again." I says, "How do you mean they're using your number?" "They're using my number. They want to sell you something, or they want to do something, and all right, so they use the number. They can use your number." So
I didn't know that was called spoofing.
Oh yeah.
So spoofing's
That's
the
what's called spoofing.
Okay.
Because when you spoof, you can make up numbers, okay, and put them into the computer. You can also have a business that really doesn't exist. And by the way, the IRS something, and they've been doing this.
That's what they did.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then they come and they threaten you, and then they say, and a sheriff came in and said, and then they threatened to call in the sheriff.
Well, that's what happened. They threatened with the FBI to me.
But the problem was, it was the sheriff's wife they were doing this to.
Right. Well, they didn't realize they were
They
talking
didn't
about
know it.
state rep
So
either.
that's what spoofing has done. Do you know that you can get an app for it, for spoofing?
No.
You can go right up
My
to
wife
spoofing.
probably knows how to. She's a computer
If you
geek.
want to play a game
Right.
on people, you can put someone else's telephone number.
Right.
And of course, you're going to answer it. If it's
yeah, without a doubt.
If it's my phone number, he will not answer
No,
it.
not at all. I have you unblocked.
Yeah.
Hey, but anyways, I contacted. What I've said. Hey, this is State Representative Baldasaro.
Yeah.
I said, I didn't know, no IRS. Well, you're getting a little rough with me there. I'll have the FBI. I said, listen, you have whoever you want. He hung up on me. So first thing I did was contacted the police, and let them know.
Nothing that they can do?
No, but they said they're well aware of this, somebody, but when they try to track it, their numbers from overseas somewhere. You can't track them.
It's called spoofing,
right, yes.
And that's the reason, the bill, and that's why one of the reasons they want to stop it. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you happen to have had people call you with a phone number you sort of recognize, but then it's not that person who is called, and you just happen to know it's not that person who's called, but it's their phone number. And in some cases, you might even get your own phone number calling you, because it can show, and many it shows right up on the television screen. It'll tell you who's calling. So that's called spoofing. So we have, came to our committee, and it's interesting that you had that problem that very day. So are we doing our job as state representatives?
I hope so.
Well,
I hope you are.
I'm talking about you too, because this has to come before the House.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, right now it's in your committee. That's probably why a lot of us don't know about it. But I wanted to try to figure out what this unfair, what they talked about in your committee on the practices targeting veterans. And, you know what I mean? What was it? I mean, I'm interested in that. I'm a veterans activist.
Listen, I am also. And if I cannot remember exactly what happened, as you can see,
okay, then I'll move on. No, I'll pull the bill.
No, excuse me. Let me just explain it. If I can't explain something like that, and I was there, usually it's something you go, stupid, move over, let's do something else, and they throw it into a committee. So, all right, so.
And the reason why I'm asking the question is because I knew there were some companies that are trying to say, we're going to help veterans get their disabilities, and they're taking a lot of their money. That's why I was wondering.
We had a bill on that?
If that's the one right here.
Excuse me?
Targeting veterans,
We had, let me see.
Because that's being investigated in the state by the Attorney General.
You just brought it back to me.
Yeah.
That was exactly
what it was?
we talked about. What happened is that I can, a veteran, you come home, I can find out who you are, I can call you and I can say, I am an individual who could help you get, go through the process of getting your VA or your benefits, because it gets hard, it gets kind of difficult.
Right.
So they'll charge you $250 to $500, and what they do is they basically send you an application for it. They might even call you again and help you and send it in for you, okay? And then they'll say, oh, by the way, if nothing happens in 30 days, call these telephone numbers, which means all you did is you just put in, my name is Baldasaro, and I live here, and this is the time I was in the service. Now you've got to show records and everything like that.
But what's happening is the disability money, they're taking it. You know what I mean? On some of these, I was in a briefing, I don't know, about a year ago with the Attorney General's office and one of the attorneys that were working on this, because we had a group out in Keene that was going after disabled veterans that are putting in for disability. And they were trying to say, we'll do the paperwork, we'll do everything here.
No.
And they're going to take a percentage. The check goes to them.
Well, we didn't hear that part, but we did hear. So I'm glad you jolted me, because that's exactly what we were talking about yesterday. Isn't that interesting?
It is. It's a damn shame.
Okay, and this one was the end of the day. And actually, I didn't get it. It started at 2 o'clock. So this went on for 2.5 hours. So 4:30, we left. And listen to what this is relative to the cost sharing for oral anti-cancer therapies. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, they've come up with a new way of giving you chemotherapy through a pill, and this is better medicine because it targets more. So it's quite revolutionary.
Is it cheaper than chemo?
No. And by the way, that's called push it, which I didn't know. I mean, in the industry, it's called pushing or taking a pill. All right. Pushing means the drip. That's what goes into you. So you go there. I know somebody, was it Doug Scanlon, who had prostate cancer from...
my cousin, 51, just passed away. I went to the funeral last week.
Last week.
Cancer,
And anyway, he had to go like for 6 days in a row. He had to go to Boston. Well, the question is if he takes the pill and he goes there 3 times, he takes the pill, they keep him there for a couple hours, there's no reaction. There's no reason why you got to go all the way to Boston or wherever you have to go, without, just because there's no reaction to the pill. If there is, they take you off it, obviously. But on a fourth or fifth time, why drive to Boston? Why go out into the snow? But you got to be there anyway. Why don't you just take the pill? That's the big argument.
Okay.
But it's more expensive. The insurance company said, look, we'll go along with it as long as there's a $100 deductible to it, because this is far more expensive. Now, this is important for you to hear this part. Now, somebody stands up against it from the industry, the insurance industry. And they have all the reasons, the cost, and on and on, which is important. But she also said it's got to be in by it's got to be in by April to have this take effect, where people could use this pill and get this chemotherapy this way. Had to be in by the 15th of April to start it on January 1, 2016. Or if we didn't make it by the 15th of April, which we couldn't, obviously, then it would have to go back 1 full year. So in other words, if you could get the pill tomorrow, if you could, it's like 2 years. So I run in and I say to John, I says, we can pass this. We can take this. Everybody agrees on it. I mean, we can pass this. We can get it into the House. We can pass it through the House.
Right.
We can give it to the senators, because the senators, they can sign it. She can sign it.
It's a Senate bill. It's already passed by the Senate.
Go. Right.
All we got to do with the House. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
And then at the end,
I said, we could do it. He says,
you fast track it.
And I said, yeah. I says, and it helps people. So he gets into cost of it. And I'm going, John, we can amend it later if it's too much, but there are people who really, this is a target. It's more expensive.
Right.
Because it's and so anyway, he said we can wait as late as October for this, but if we don't get it in supposedly by April 15th, that's what she said, you can't get it then till 2017. If you get it in before April, you get it 2016.
Since the cost is so much on this here, I mean, basically it's like another unfunded mandate where everyone else's servants will go up to cover this. Is that what you're saying? Why you want to get it in so fast? Because somebody's got to pay for it. Nothing's for nothing.
No, I think it's.
Where's the money come from to pay for it?
No, that's not the argument. They said no. They brought that up. 9 cents more per policy.
9 cents more for because everybody.
Everybody.
Everyone.
9 cents more.
I can't see that. I would think that would be a lot more than that.
No. Because of the great mass of this. Great mass of this. And by the way, not everybody can take it, because this is special. I mean, if you're, I hate to say it, if you're critical and you're going to die anyway, but you want to still take the chemotherapy, they probably wouldn't give you this.
Okay.
So, and then we had a lady come in from Brookline who had 2 sets of twins, believe it or not. She got a particular type of cancer. It went away. It came back. She was 4 years clean. It just came back. And she said, well, now people can live almost 7 years before they die. And I'm going to myself, what? She looks beautiful, meaning healthy. And yet they just found out it came back, and she's got 2 sets of twins, and that's one of the reasons why she wanted that medicine. So that's our job, is to try to help people. Do you agree?
Oh, I agree.
People come in
but
and this is awful.
Why couldn't she still got it with the cost of the insurance and just pay the difference?
What do you mean?
Meaning, if the insurance was going to pay for the chemo, if whatever the cost, what's the cost difference between chemo and the pill? Did they bring it up?
Well, you brought it up by 9 cents more per person.
Per person to pay for it, but I'm saying, what is the actual individual cost? Did they bring up the cost in your committee between what it costs for chemo versus what it costs for this pill?
No. It's 9 cents more, but let's get something straight, because this is really important. She said, if my husband didn't have this insurance, it cost $30,000 a month. Wow. And I thought, oh my God, if he lost his job, she's dead.
Well, not really, because then Medicaid, they could give on there if he wasn't working. We have system in place that could help there.
But I mean,
we also have catastrophic insurance also run by the state. So,
but
you know what I mean? So we're there. I don't think.
That's not true, though. That's not. You're right, but that takes time to do that.
It does.
She doesn't have time.
Right, but the bottom line is is it my fault, your fault that somebody lost their job or their insurance? No, but it's our job to help try to fix it.
You're correct, and this is what this
I'm
is.
always correct.
No, you're not. So, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, I'm not yelling, screaming at him. We are Republican. He's an okay Republican. Good Democrat, as I say. Oh, I just hit my.
Look, he's confused. Yeah.
Okay,
Fiction, fact.
All right. Okay, fiction, fact. But anyway, I think we both agree that, and besides that, they brought up the history of medicine. The people who can afford it always get the first medicine.
If you got deep pockets.
5 years down the road, it's normal because usually those medicines, honest to God, are easier to produce. Okay? So the people who are right on the cusp, right on the edge of everybody getting it, they die. Right. Isn't that sad?
It is sad. You know, and it costs so much money there to engineer this stuff and, produce this stuff. Up front, and then until they start, knowing what all the studies and everything they do to make sure that it is in fact working, it takes a long time, a lot of money.
And
let's talk about the budget.
No, let's talk about breastfeeding.
I want to get into the budget
we
before
will
the
get
show
into the
is
budget.
over.
I want to get into because this is very, this is important, and I didn't know how important this is, and you might not be for this.
Okay.
Now, obviously,
my daughter-in-law breastfeeds.
Obviously, they come into our committee, and everybody's for breastfeeding. Okay, I am too. Okay, not arguing that. I didn't know there were so many organizations. I mean, like national organizations. There were 3 people from national organizations, and I'm saying, well, okay, nobody's disagreeing with you, but here is the rub. You ready? They want a separate room for women to either breastfeed or pump the milk for the child. Okay? All right? A separate room.
A room where?
Inside the business.
Oh, that's crazy.
Inside, it has to be over 50 employees.
Right.
Okay. Now, the question is, nobody disagrees a child should be, if can, breastfed.
Right.
Nobody agrees. Everybody agrees. But somebody turns around and says, just like you, well, excuse me, are you saying that a mother can bring the child to work?
Right.
Okay. And then, but in this bill, it's also men should have time in a separate room to bottle feed the child. But what they're trying to do is supersede, trying to get every employer to let the mothers bring the babies in to breastfeed. So that's how they went about it.
Now, can I ask you something?
So if you vote against this, you're voting against breastfeeding.
Well, that's good.
If you vote against it,
then I'll vote against breastfeeding then. And the reason why I'm going to vote against breastfeeding, because let's talk about a business owner here. When you lose somebody for an hour to pump milk or to feed a baby, who's doing the work of that employee? Are you paying them or are they off the clock? Are you paying them to go feed their baby? These are things you Democrats never look at. You automatically want to take from the employee.
No.
The employer.
Hold on a second. Wait a second. Please don't say that.
Because you just said I'm against breastfeeding.
No.
If I'm against it.
No. Please don't make this political.
It is political. Because I bet you the Democrats are the only one pushing it.
No. These are the organizations that are pushing it. Both Republicans and Democrats are saying...
I thought you were telling me that if I didn't support it, I'm against breastfeeding.
Oh, no.
I grew up my family on breastfeeding Italians and stuff.
I am trying to say that if I voted against it, they would say I voted against breastfeeding.
I hope they do, because I'll vote against it.
And I'm saying no, but are you trying to tell us...
Are you supporting it or are you against it?
Well, let me explain it to you. No, it has to be defined more.
Okay.
What they're saying is the mother breastfeeding or pumping milk, if she's pumping milk, that's different, okay? But breastfeeding, and you need a separate room within the business if it's over 50 employees. Now, that's an expense.
Why? Do they bring the kids to work? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Are you letting the...
Yeah.
And that's really unfair to put before state representatives because, A, my son was breastfed.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very healthy. Everybody agrees upon this.
I agree.
I am not arguing that.
Right.
all the things. But are you saying now they can bring their children to work? And everybody's going, well, they're not even arguing about the separate room.
Right.
I mean, nobody's saying anything like that. But now are you superseding, making it a law now that the breastfeeding law is that they have to bring their children or can bring their children to work?
Right, that's what it sounds like, yeah.
And so that's the predicament. I know it sounds silly to some people, but that's the truth. So here I am going, wait a minute. Where is the law or where is the provision that says a mother can bring a child to work?
There's none. It's up to the employee.
And you want to know something? There are some big companies who have these, who have nurseries.
That's right. Yeah, they have nurseries there.
Et cetera.
Yeah.
All right. So I think I understand all
I think we need to stay out of that one, the government. I think I don't think we should mandate on employees to make a separate room and to let kids go to work. That's a private business between their employee.
Well, I happen to agree with you, but it's how.
Praise the Lord.
No.
You
come
agree?
On. No.
Okay,
let's try to talk about this law. I mean,
Okay.
let's instead of make a Republican Democrat. We got 22 minutes. I'll go after you anyway. You know that.
I think you're talking in a lot of other areas, and I think you're keeping away from the budget for a reason. How come? Why are you keeping away from the budget? Why do you not want to talk about what went on Wednesday?
No, I'm going to start on 20 minutes, which is 2 minutes and 29 seconds. Then we'll talk about the budget because I want to go after you and how stupid and idiotic this, Representative Neil Kirk, to me, all right, lives in a very strange world.
Why? He's a conservative. He's a
No. He's done this before, and you guys didn't pick up on it.
What did he do?
All right. I was once, for 2 years, in the Hillsborough County Commission. I was one of those, councilors. So we had, actually, Hillsborough County has a budget of like $85 million, right? So, and I've talked about this before, I think when Bill O'Brien was here and everyone, it's in the budget, they took out $450,000, got rid of 4.5 social workers. The social workers came in and from judges to police to everybody and said, well, we saved the state $1.5 million, so $450,000 is fine. But Neil Kirk said, no, we're cutting that out. That's not needed. And they said, well, we do kind of stop people from committing suicide. I mean, no, you have to understand that the Hillsborough County social workers, these are the ones that do the bad cases.
Okay.
All right? These are the ones that have the skills.
We've discussed this over and over and over.
So, would you like me to tell you what Neil Kirk did?
He took away 4 psychologists.
So it cost
I already know about this.
It cost us $1 million a year.
Okay.
Right? But you would have saved $1 million a year with $450,000.
Actually, I disagree. It costs you $1 million a year.
Excuse me. In Nash, we've had 3 very prominent suicides. And I never called up.
You know something?
No. I got a question to ask you.
You want to know why he took the money? Because you don't realize a few years ago, you got millions of dollars, Nashua, to open to support a mental health program in Nashua. You got the money from the federal budget that was taken from the veterans.
And ladies and gentlemen, guess who was
duplication
out of there were these social workers. And don't get into this with me, because this drove me crazy.
It's a duplication.
Is Neil Kirk, who said...
I think he did the right thing.
Oh, okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll say $450,000 or $65,000, but we'll spend $1 million.
No,
that's
not true.
Tell you we saved you $450,000.
You had a duplication of services. No, that's not true. You were taking money from the taxpayers. You were taking money from the taxpayers in Hillsborough County, plus you were taking grants from the state.
All right, now let me,
for mental health.
All right, now let me ask
you a couple questions.
No, it's not duplication.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
You took it from the veteran homeless shelter here and you gave it to a mental health program.
I don't want to go through with you
That's not
again.
true.
And the people who listen are going, no, we don't want to hear this again. Okay.
That's right.
All right, now.
Let's get to the budget.
Now, this is what Neil Kirk says. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen?
You're doing everything you can to keep away from the budget. I don't know why.
This is the budget.
No.
He said...
You're talking Hillsborough budget.
No, back now to the state budget. All right. Neil Kirk said, we're going to take a little from everyone so everyone hurts basically the same. Do you agree?
Actually, that's not what he said. Actually, what he said was, we're going to take a little bit. The governor put in 11 point something billion dollars, almost $1 billion of spending.
No, I have.
He took. They all got their money. They were getting.
Excuse me.
Except not what the governor
they're not all
wanted.
getting their money.
Except not what the governor was given.
They're not all getting their money.
I just happen to have the budget. I knew you were going to get to this.
Just have the budget.
Who? Tell me who didn't get their money.
All right, ladies and
tell
gentlemen.
me who didn't get their money.
Everything was cut. Now, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the governor's budget. Go ahead.
Okay.
I was prepared for this. That's why I wanted to get to it. The governor's budget, $11.5 billion from 10.2.
So what is it now?
It's 11.2. No, 10.5 it was.
So
now
it
it's
took
11.2.
how much money out?
We were $300 million shy of what the governor wanted.
Excuse me. And so they
$300 million shy of what the governor wanted.
Now, Neil Kirk happened to be a Republican who's got, I think he lives like this, okay? You say, no, he lives like this. No, he lives like
He's a conservative.
My opinion.
He's a conservative.
No, anybody who gives up $1 million for $450,000, that's not good. But now, would you agree that that's how we went about it? We'll cut what we have to.
No. What he went about is there's only so much money. Remember you saying, where do you go? There's only so much money you can get from the taxpayers. You know, you guys make me laugh. Read the calendar you've been reading. Go in the back and look at all the amendments of all the taxes they wanted to take out of your pocket.
I would like this camera. Could you put this camera right here?
Yeah, put it on both of us.
Put it right here. You go back to him. I'm going to look at the camera 3. I'm going to say, look, I just said something about Neil Kirk, and I mean it. I'm going to tell you why.
A very professional individual.
He cut money out of tourism.
How?
He cut money out of tourism. For every tourism dollar spent for advertising in the state of New Hampshire, guess how much money comes back? $7.99. It's the same thing he did with the social workers as he's doing now. He's telling you he cut the money, but you need tourism. Guess what? You need tourism.
Can you tell me how he cut tourism?
What do you mean?
Can you tell me how much money he cut? Tell me how much.
Got it?
You're just making a comment. How much money he cut?
Go ahead.
No, I don't know. I got to
it.
find the line number. Look at this. Look at the size of this thing. It's a line number, but you're not being truthful. No. Leave this stuff alone.
You said you were prepared for me.
No, what I'm saying is,
you said you were prepared for me.
You're throwing out a statement, tourism.
I believe
tourism.
It was.
Tell me, tourism is the people coming into us spending money. What money do we spend on tourism? Tell me what money the state. Advertising. You're not being truthful. You're not being truthful.
So every dollar in tourism brings back $7.99, and that's when I said that the Kirk is here. He says Kirk. I say this is Kirk.
The money was level funded.
Not investing in the state of New Hampshire.
He's not being truthful.
That's what you Republicans don't do.
The money was level spended. The budget was level spended. What they got last time, they got the same. The economic development, whatever they call it, the economic people got the same money. They just didn't get the millions of dollars that the governor wanted to give them. So you call it a cut.
You do not invest in a state.
That's not true.
I don't believe it.
That's not true.
I don't have to go any further than that.
Mental health was more important.
How in the world?
Health and Human Services were more important. School budgets were more important.
Republicans say how conservative they are. If you spend $1 and get $7.90 back, and then they cut that, that's stupid.
That's not true. That's not true. They were level funded.
Idiotic. That's a person who doesn't understand.
Let me ask you something.
I give you
how can you look at the camera with a straight face?
I would love.
How can you look at the camera with a straight face?
Is there anybody out there who would like to give $1 and you get $7 back?
How can you look at the camera with a straight face and say we cut it? Is the cut because we didn't spend all that money the governor wanted? Did we level fund them what they got last year? Did we protect the schools?
You see.
Did we protect the schools because the governor? Wait, let me finish, please. Let me finish. The governor was cutting 40% under stabilization on the education. We put an amendment and did it 10%.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Nashua.
No.
We saved Nashua.
No, you didn't save Nashua.
Yes, we did.
No, you didn't.
I just happen to have.
No, you just no. We already went through this.
No.
We're losing $1 million.
No, wait. Let me explain something to you.
So
Under the governor's
$7.99
budget
for $1. You have to hire people as politicians. All right. When they come before you and they knock on your door, you have to ask them if they have some knowledge. And I've always said, let's invest in the state.
Can you give me a
when
second?
They took money away from tourism. $1, $7.99.
It's not true.
Guess what?
We level funded
What's wrong?
it. That's not true. We level funded it because there was other priorities in the state. Let me run something by you.
Other
Listen to me for a
priorities.
second.
Is there another
I'm
priority?
going to read the actual numbers.
How do you bring money in?
I'm going to read the actual number because the tourists come in and spend. Give it a break. You're talking about advertising.
No, I am talking
You're talking
about
advertising
bringing
money. They wanted more money for advertising. We didn't give it. We level funded it. Now, because
You
this
did
is
not
why.
level fund it.
We did.
No,
I'm
you
going to give you the numbers for Nashua. Okay, the current stabilization grant for Nashua.
Okay, wait. A grant.
A grant. Yeah, the stabilization grant.
No.
This is because Nashua school numbers have dropped.
Grant comes from where?
Comes from the state, okay,
Not
under the
federal.
federal. No, from the state. The
Dollar
state.
for dollar grant?
No, I don't know if it's dollar for dollar,
right,
but
okay, all right,
I'm
okay.
going to tell you the numbers.
All right.
Don't play stupid, all right?
Go
All right, listen. This is the stabilization grant. 4,793,937. This is what you were getting. The current eligible CAD aid, you were getting 524,209. Okay, at 74% CAD aid, you would have got, this is under the governor now, you would have got 390,158. Now, the CAD aid difference for Nashua was 134,051 under 74%. The Republicans originally put 100% in, but you were going to take $750,000 loss under stabilization, Nashua. Now, under the original committee amendment, Nashua would have lost I was right, $750,000 in stabilization, but they gained $134,051 in CAD aid for a net loss of $1,615,949.
Million?
Now wait, no, thousand. Now, under the amendment that we put in, which is here, the Stefanik amendment, okay?
Stefanik, yeah.
We
Boy,
passed,
I'll tell
Nashua
you,
lost
when you say
10%
Tea
of the
Party and
stabilization,
conservative, there's his picture.
which is 479,394.
That's what we lost?
You lost, okay?
Oh.
Now wait, you were going to lose 750,000.
Oh,
Under the
ladies
governor,
and
you were going to lose
gentlemen.
12,
Oh,
a
we're
million
gonna
two.
lose this.
Under the governor, you were going to lose $1 million two.
Our mayor comes up every single year around budget time, and she gives. We met.
You know something?
We were given a sandwich.
We saved the taxpayers in Nashua.
And a soft. No, you didn't.
Yes, we did.
And this is
Yeah, we
what
did.
she said.
Tell the people what stabilization is.
You want to know what she said? If you can find it in your heart and you want to protect Nashua, because everything from the state does, it comes back to Nashua.
Okay.
Talked about all
No,
losses.
it's not.
She said,
Manchester,
"Don't
Rochester,
vote
it's not just
for
Nashua.
the budget."
It's
So,
not.
ladies and gentlemen, you can find out who
Your
voted for
mayor-
the budget. I did not
Your mayor-
vote for that.
Then you voted. If you voted the other way, okay, the governor's budget, Nashua would have taken a major hit in education if you went with the governor's budget.
Excuse me.
The governor was cutting 40%.
You just said we're losing $500,000.
But what I'm saying
yourself.
is, do you know what stabilization money you were getting? Do you know what that's for?
God. Look.
Okay, let
I'll
me
tell you
explain
what,
to the
I'll tell you
people.
I'll tell you what. Is Nashua doing any better
Let me
than
explain.
they done before?
Yes, you are. Under the governor's
right, okay.
budget that we saved you. Stabilization is a benefit. It's money that we really don't deserve, but the state gives to you. It's money because Nashua, like my town, numbers are dropping in the schools. So that means you're not getting the adequacy funding you need because you don't have the children anymore that you used to have, like my town. So the state a few years ago was given stabilization money to offset your fixed costs. But now this is all extra money that should be going to schools.
Okay, all right.
No, you don't want. Do you want me to explain?
Let me add a little to that.
So we protected Nashua taxpayers.
Okay, let me add a little to that.
Add it.
All right, okay.
But be factual.
All right. Private schools.
Yeah.
We're paying for.
No, we're not paying for it.
Yeah,
no, we're not.
we are. Nashua is paying
school?
for it.
What private school is Nashua paying
we
for?
are paying for. We don't pay for private schools.
Tell me what's a private
But
school
tell me,
to you?
why did you take $200,000 away from us for transportation
For who?
for people who are going to other schools, which Nashua's paying for?
Like who? Like what? What private school? Is it a
I
charter
believe
school?
there was,
Are you calling a charter school a
charters,
private?
there was
A charter is like a public
charter
school without
schools,
the unions.
Religious schools, you guys let in?
No, we're not.
Oh, yeah.
No,
so,
no.
in other words, Nashua is losing lots of money because of him.
No, that's
people
not
like
true.
him.
He's not being honest with you right now.
I'm being
You know,
honest.
what we did was a few years ago, we
I
gave
love
parents
you, but
choice.
I'm not honest. You're not.
If a school is not working for your children, one size does not fit all. We gave parents a choice in businesses to donate money into a fund that will offset low-income kids to go to a school that fits them.
All right, ladies
you all didn't want that.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me just
You
say
took it
this.
to court and lost.
Let me repeat what he said.
They took it to court and
Let me
lost.
repeat what he says. We're supposedly losing kids, right? But we're also losing kids going to other places. You know what the most expensive thing it is to run a charter school? Guess what? Under the rules of the state, they cannot own the property for 3 years, so they got to pay rent. All right? They got to pay rent. And did you know that something like 60% of the charter schools go out of
That's not true.
business?
That's not true.
That is true.
No, that's not true.
Now, and all of
That's
a
not
sudden,
true.
there's people like myself.
You know something? You have a beautiful school in Nashua.
Not me only, but a lot of people
I am
say,
shocked that you're
why
saying
don't
that.
we put the charter school in the regular schools if we're losing people?
You have one school
Why don't
that
you
took
do
troubled
that?
kids in Nashua. That
Why
is
don't
not
you
the
do
model
that?
throughout the state.
Why don't you do that?
Because charter schools, let me
Why
explain.
don't you-
Will you let me explain?
You can't work it within
Stop.
the building?
Can you stop? Let me
The most
explain.
expensive thing is rent?
Let me explain. A charter school, to bring a child to charter school is about $5,500 a year. To bring a kid to a public school is almost $15,000 a year. If you look at the testing
No, it's
results,
not.
AP testing, SAP, you look at all the MECAPs, you look at all these testing. Charter schools up here,
Yeah, okay.
public school is here.
You know
Why?
something? I don't want
Why?
to give you a spanking,
Why?
but I think I will.
I think I need a spanking.
Yeah, I know. Charter schools, are you ready for this?
You're not being
in New
honest.
Hampshire. Charter schools don't have to take the disabled school kids. Charter schools don't have to take the troubled kids.
Mm-hmm.
Charter schools can take only the smartest kids, and you better believe that these test scores ought to go up.
You know,
but in regular schools, there are disabled kids. There are kids who are having problems. And if you want to start a charter school, and since we are supposedly losing kids, since we have the space, why don't we just sort of have not a wall, but a door?
Maybe.
And right over to the other side, because same heating, same air conditioning, same everything, buses go to the same place. Have a charter school within the school.
You know what? Maybe Nashua needs to take a look and see what Londonderry's doing right. Because Londonderry there, we got, I think, almost 5,000 kids. We've got a 99-point-something graduation rate. We've got about 88% of going on to college in there. Maybe they need to take a look and see what other districts are doing right, okay, on with their funding and stuff.
Oh, Nashua's doing something wrong?
No, did I say that? I'm saying is, if you're complaining, you've got a school, a charter school, one of the best in the state here in Nashua. And you're knocking it. You've got one of the best charter schools in the state.
No,
you're knocking charter schools.
I stood up at this little meeting with a mayor, okay, in front of all the Democrats.
Okay.
We're the second largest block of representatives. And I said, I live in Ward 6, Nashua.
Yeah.
That's who I represent is Ward 6, Nashua. And I basically sat down, and I represent Nashua. And I just basically sat down, and all of a sudden we found that there are people who live in Nashua who will not back Nashua, especially in the schools and in the busing, et cetera, who are Republicans. So you can find out who voted for what by going to the state of New Hampshire, and you will find the budget. But,
Can I go on the record for something
hold
against
on
your mayor?
But if you're going to do that, find an accountant, because hold it up.
Can I go on? No, you mean the budget with
Hold
all
up
the
the
numbers
budget.
here?
Hold up the budget.
I mean, yeah, you can see here. Here's one set.
Here's one
now,
set.
here's a denim with the numbers also right here.
Oh, yeah, those are the amendments.
Right. And then there's a whole stack of amendments here I have. Okay.
Nobody.
These are all amendments here.
And ladies and gentlemen, nobody can read it all.
I try to read. I try to read most of them. Let me explain something. I want to be on. I want to be on the record.
You have a hard time talking.
Like I said the last show, I went to the finance meetings. I'm going to look
did you go to the
Will you give me a
finance
second?
meetings?
I
You
want
don't
to say
even
something.
understand
Your mayor is a Republican. I'm a Republican from Londonderry. If your mayor passed out to tell everyone don't vote against the budget, your mayor was wrong. Because by you not voting for this budget, okay, was the biggest mistake.
Did the
what
budget
would have
pass?
happened? We would have had to taken more money out of your pocket for education.
That's not true.
Yes, we would have.
No, that's a lie.
You were going to lose money.
No,
the numbers are here.
That's a lie. But
the numbers are here. You would have taken a beating. Your mayor's wrong.
No.
I'm telling you, your mayor is wrong.
The mayor is not wrong.
She's wrong.
No, she's not.
Okay.
And every time it seems like they sent representatives up to Concord,
The
especially the
governor's
Republican
budget-
representatives. They go, let's do small government. Let's take the taxes away. Let's bring down fees. Let's not charge this. Let's stop this. Let's take money out of cigarettes. And guess who pays for that? You. And we're saving money? No, we're not saving money. Shame on you guys.
Mm-hmm. Your governor was cutting the education budget, okay? But she was putting money in other areas. $300 million in real versus going to education. Give it a break.
I got it.
$40 million in
Let us calm down.
Wait,
We got less than 4 minutes.
$40 million in raises.
Yeah.
And we're struggling here in the state.
Are you ready? Ready to slow down?
You got my blood pumping, okay?
That's the reason why I didn't start the budget
That's
earlier.
right. You got my blood
I waited
pumping.
for the last 20 minutes.
Because the numbers are
Because he was
there.
prepared, and I knew he couldn't find half the things I was talking about.
No, I can find.
Half
Yeah,
the
I
people
can
up there
find.
can't find them.
I can find. Matter of fact, the governor wanted to pay $1.3 million on a new position because she can't do a job. A new chief operating officer she wants.
Let us talk about that.
Yeah.
It wasn't $1 million,
Well,
by the way. It wasn't $1 million. A chief operating officer does what? And I'm going to tell you.
They run the state.
What? No. I'm going to tell you what they do. They kind of go over they look at everything. We'll use, again, tourism.
Why do you
They
vote
will
in the
look
governor?
at the numbers of tourism, and when they try to do anything with tourism, he will stand up or she will stand up and go, excuse me, you must invest in the state of New Hampshire. $1 brings in $7.99, and you want to take money away from tourism. That's stupid.
That's not true.
Okay.
The governor wants to run for Senate, so by her hiring a chief operating officer, she can be off campaigning and don't have to worry about doing a job.
That's not true.
That's
a lie.
We
lie.
elect a governor. That's the chief operating officer.
Lie.
If she can't handle a job, tell her to step down.
That is a lie.
That's the truth.
You know, no, you
If
don't.
she
You looked
can't
at
do
politics.
her
You're
job-
a politician. You don't even know politics.
If she can't do her job,
okay.
tell her step
All right.
down.
Okay, how can I get in touch with you?
Very simple. www.albaldasaro.com. You can reach me on Facebook, Lincoln, I tweet. You can call me at 603-425-6997, or you can stop by my house at 41 Hall Road in Londonderry.
Okay, and we're going to do something a little different because we have had people who kind of do not like what we do, or in some cases really like what we do, and they're kind of complaining to me, so I'm saying this, and Al will go along with it. One thing we can agree upon. If you don't like what we're saying, we'll give you 5 minutes to sit here, and you may blast us, or you can even say, hey, good job, guys.
No, debate
Will
us.
you accept it?
Yeah, I'll accept it.
No, this is fun.
But come on and
We keep our
debate
mouths
us.
shut, and they can say whatever they want
But
for
the
5
thing
minutes.
is, sometimes they might be like you and just say something that don't mean anything.
We can't get through anything.
I agree, but I would want them in good, clean debate.
So if you want to come in and sit, well, a lot of people don't want to debate you.
Then why? Then
Because you look pushy.
So you want me to
I look like the good Democrat.
You want me to sit here and let somebody come in here and maybe BS?
Let me tell you how you get in touch with me.
See, that's a Democrat way. Shut up, don't say nothing.
864-9332. 864-9332. That is my number. Also, you can get me at Gidge, that's Gidgewrld, at GidgeWorld.com. You can get me there, find out anything you want to know about me. I'm an artist. We got 15 seconds.
How about Gidge World?
Gidge World, that's what I said.
Is that how to get in touch with you?
What do you think I just
You're
said?
in your own world,
Are you
brother.
listening?
It's always an honor. You're in your own world.
All right. I hope you've enjoyed the show.
Here's the education cuts, by the way.
Goodbye. See you
I
next time.
found it. I found it.
Yeah, you
preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.